Good afternoon everybody, and a warm welcome to Berringer. And today is the big Berringer redevelopment project part 3, and this is just a progress report on what's been going on, and basically all the track work, well 99.9% of the track work is now finished. So I can give you a whole overview of where we're at with the track work, and we'll start at the town scene end. Here we go. Right, lovely. Basically, I've had to all the track work is now in place and done. And when I originally had the track work here, the curve point went this way, and then it went back out. And basically the locos, the vet in particular, absolutely hated it. And in my quest to try and get reliable running, I've had to try and find a way of simplifying the track work in order to get it to work correctly. And I've now managed to basically straighten it all out, so it's a nice gentle approach all the way around, and all the locos seem to like it. And the only when I say 99.9% of the track work is finished, the point, whatever it is, of the percent, is just the connection of the joint here right in the corner. That's the only bit that needs to be connected up, and then that can connect to the main board, which is up here, the lift up section. But I had to make a small compromise, and basically I had to butcher the corner off Berringer platform number 4 in order to get, yes it is number 4, I'm just trying to work it out, in order to get this to work correctly. However, it's not really a big deal because because it's just card, and obviously I built it myself and everything like that, I can just quickly and easily repair it, and it's not really going to be a big song and dance over it or anything like that. And the other thing about it is that what I've done, if you follow Berringer platform 4 and 5, I've now extended the platforms out slightly, because that's going to go in there like that, and then basically this will come in, and then basically you'll have the extension of the platforms. Because what I wanted to do is to have it where it slightly pokes out from the, because if you imagine here at this point here, that's where Berringer, the actual station building sits on top, and the car park. So I wanted to sort of have this sort of platform just sort of poking out, just so you get a little glimpse of what's to come. So I quite like that idea, so I've done that. And I've also finished all the track work along down here, and as far as I can tell, it is straight. There is a slight pinch point at the very bottom, but that's purely to get it through the bridge. But apart from that, it's all the same. It's completely straight and true. And the main issues the reason for having to take it all up particularly, was at the near side track here, which is this one here, and this particular piece I've managed to salvage a little bit, but that's the only tiny little bit of track that I've used on this section, which is between there and I think just where that joint is, and all the rest of the track along here is completely brand new. But basically the problem that I was having, which preempted a lot of the work around here, was the fact that when the trains came over the corner, because of the gradient that I have here, the front bogie, the front wheel would raise, and then when it came back down it would just kind of misalign and derail. So I had to sort of level it out, which is what I've been doing. So there is a slope still going down, but it's nowhere near as severe, and the trains are now running sweet along here. And obviously there's also a lot less joints along here, so that makes it a lot more reliable and higher speeds as well. Back over here, we have now some sweeping curves as well, and also some banked curves, and that seems to help. I'm just in the middle of basically marrying up the existing platform with some new platform work that's going to be going along here, and that's going to go all the way along the back there as well. I've got the card for that, so that's going to be my next job really, because all the track work is now virtually completed, apart from that little bit on the end there that I've just showed you. Along here it's all very straight, it's all very nice, and as we come down here, I'm really impressed with the track work now. It works so much better than what I've had. the bridge is actually gone for now, but the supports are there because the bridge top actually comes off. It was designed that way, so in case I needed to get underneath it. The platform here will remain finished here because I'm thinking of putting a signal box here in this block section here that I've got between the support. If I just zoom out a bit, there you go. Between the support and the platform end, I was thinking of putting a signal box in there. Also, as far as the platforms are concerned, matchsticks have been out. I haven't finished with the matchsticks, but this is got the matchsticks and the original paint that I used when I originally painted this. I managed to get the same paint, so I've now blended that in with that one as well. So I've just got to do the sides. So this section is done, except like I said, I've just got to do a bit of tidying up, but that's nothing too major at all. And we've got this third section here, but it hasn't got matchsticks on the other side because I ran out, but I've now got some more to get on with that. And then I've got to make a cardboard section here just to raise it up to where it's going to finish here, and that will give me, I think it's going to give me about 5 or 6 coaches, I should say, which is perfectly adequate for me, and I'm perfectly happy. For me, it's more about getting the reliability and the running, which I didn't really have before, which was kind of taking enjoyment out of running the railway, to be truthful with you. It's just that it's just too many sort of issues with point work and track work. So now I've really kind of been running trains, and just it's nice to see them just gliding along and being really smooth. So I'm really pleased with that. I've then had to rejig the trackwork here because originally I said I was going to have a crossover. And those of you who are very observant can see there is one there. But the crossover I had was this one. And I bought this one from my local model shop brand new. And I specifically asked about it because basically what I wanted it to do was do what this one is doing, which is basically having 2 straight tracks going straight off and then 2 tracks veering off to the right towards Berringer station. Now, a word to the wise, because this is how I've got caught out. I did specifically ask, mind you, it wasn't necessarily my fault, but it turns out that the angle of this crossover is completely different to the angle of that crossover, and therefore if you'd have, say, this one nice and straight, and you'd have the point facing that like that, if I just do it like that so it's right on top of each other, you can see just here that the angle is completely out and it throws this line completely that way, which is very annoying because this particular point came on one of those Pico cardboard backings that you have to rip off, and once you've ripped it off you can't actually put it back together. So I've actually spent money on this point that I'm not going to use now, which is really, really frustrating. However, I went to see a fellow modeller friend of mine yesterday, and he's got a fantastic layout too, and he was showing me the progress on his layout, and he's got boxes and boxes of points and track and all sorts, and he kindly donated this slip to me, which I've since cleaned up and it runs sweet. There isn't any real problems, and it's much more realistic, I think is the word I'm looking for, that it works better this way, because before I had this point right hand point, followed by another right hand point, but that means this line bit of the line had to be bi-directional. So now it doesn't have to be like that. But in saying that, bear with me a minute because the camera's about to shut down because I'm only running out of time, so I'm just going to quickly move on to the next bit and then I'll carry on. Okay, so from where I left off, before I was going to have a point here that was going to go off that way and the crossover there, but I've decided to keep this part of the track clean and free from points for 2 reasons. One, I felt that the crossover point here was too far from Moorwood Station, so I'm going to insert that pair of crossover points down towards Moorwood Station rather than here, because I just think this is just too far down the line. And also I wanted to actually have a nice straight piece of track where I could open out the locos a little bit and give them a bit of a fresh, as it were, down the line, because this is about the only section of the line where there is actually going to be any sort of speed. because this layout obviously isn't really built for speed. Although it's quite a big layout, it isn't a very fast layout by any stretch of imagination, because it doesn't go all the way around or anything. So yeah, I just thought it'd be really nice just to have a nice clean section where it's just free from points all the way down. As you can see, there is a bit of a wonky bit just there that just needs to be pulled in, I think, which I will do. I'll tidy it out. It's quite good looking at it like that. Now that bit, I didn't use the set track bit on that bit, but I'll quickly tidy that up for next time. But as you look further down the line, it really is straight, so hopefully we'll be able to get some good old speed down there, and also just some smooth running, and that's what I'm really looking forward to, having some smooth running, not bits and pieces falling off the track all the time and having aggro all the time. But this crossover has been a real godsend actually. It's worked out really well, so I'm really pleased with it. And if I just sort of take you sort of up, you can sort of have a better view, an overview of how it looks. I just think it looks really good. And I've just spotted another little bit here that needs to be straightened out, which I will do. But yeah, overall that's what I've been up to. The track is virtually completed. It's the only bit on the end that needs to be completed, and then that will leave me to do the station platform ends. Like I said, just basically getting the station put back together again, and just doing this bit here and tidying up that bit. And like I said, even though I've kind of taken the core off of this end, it's just kind of being replaced by that end there, and then that sort of will be sort of replicated on this side to a degree, and then there might be some walling and stuff like that along here. So anyway, that's where we're at. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment and subscribe as always, and I will just leave you with my waiting room, because that's about the only half decent thing on this side of the layout at the moment, which doesn't look like it's a complete wreck. So stand by for part 4 whenever that will be, but hopefully there'll be a lot more progress done in terms of the layout, platforms, and ironing out those kinks as well. So bye for now.